Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about my favorite apps for my iPad that are going to make you more productive and also more creative. But there's a twist. I'm only going to be talking about apps that are fully cross-platform because this is very important for somebody like me that has an Android phone, an iPad, a MacBook, and also a Windows desktop. I'm also going to answer the infamous question of how I sync all my files between all these devices. You might be surprised of how I do it. For those of you who are new to this channel, I'm Bellemare-Alford, a young photographer and filmmaker on the journey to become better at this art. If you haven't seen my review of the iPad Air, I published it last week and there's a link to it in the description down below. Let's start by talking about how to sync your files between multiple devices. If you want to send large files, there's actually a way to use something that is very similar to how AirDrop works, but using any devices. So you simply need to go inside of your browser. So here I'm inside of Safari, and then you enter snapdrop.net, click enter, do the same on your other device. So here I have my Android phone with the website open. And once you have them both connected to the website, simply click on the place you want to transfer the files, select the file you want to send, and then you can add the file, and that's all. The other device already received the file right here. So it's super simple, works almost exactly how AirDrop works, and it works with any device as long as there's a browser. So this is super useful when you need to send bigger files between multiple devices. For my school files, I'm using OneDrive, and I actually paid for the storage for OneDrive, but most students can get it for free with their school, and you can get 1 terabyte account for free while they're a student. So this is a pretty great deal if you're a student and you need some cloud storage. The reason you want to be using cloud storage for some files for your school is first that it's easy to access from anywhere, which is very important when you're a student. And the second is to be sure that everything is always backed up and always safe, because I already lost all my files once when my computer broke. For my bigger files, so let's say all my videos and all my photos, I actually use what we call a network attached storage, or NAS in short. I have a whole video that talks about why I decided to buy a NAS instead of buying some cloud storage, so you can go check that one out if you want to learn more about what is a NAS and why it's a great solution. But in short, for me, this is a great solution because I can have everything backed up from my different devices automatically on the NAS. And then on my iPad, I simply have to come inside of the Files app here, then go inside of my projects here, and here I have access to all my files from my different projects from any device. So here I can access my files from my iPad, from my other devices, and it's always very fast because it uses the full speed of the Wi-Fi connection in your home to transfer files between your different devices, and you always have a backup also. You can also use it to share files with other people, so you can send a link. So it's just a great solution everywhere, and you always have everything synced together with almost no effort. My favorite note-taking app is OneNote, and I know it's not the one that has the best pen support or the one with the most features, but the fact that you can easily write on documents here and also write on the side of the document makes it really a great option for a student. And also the fact that it syncs everywhere really outweighs the fact that it cannot have all the features. So I usually take some note on the iPad, then I might look at them on my laptop, I might look at them also on my phone. So it's really important for me to have my notes always synced everywhere. If you're interested and you're a student, you want to know how I organize my things inside of OneNote, I actually have a notebook for every semester. Then inside that notebook, I have sections for every class, and sometimes I might have even more than one section for the same class. So like, let's say for my classes and also for my labs. And then I have all my PDFs inside of Pages here, and I might add some pages if I'm taking some notes or things like that. So it's still a pretty great option for when you have to take notes. And the one thing that some people might not know is they can actually add some lines here to get a little bit more the feeling of some paper when you're taking some notes inside of OneNote. Another note-taking application that you probably didn't even know existed is called Nebo. And I used to use Nebo a lot more when I was taking math classes inside of CJEP. And they say they have the best handwriting recognition. And I can say that it's actually true, they have the best handwriting recognition. So if we come inside of here, we can actually write some more complex math problems. So if I write an equation here, I can actually just write it here, double tap on the equation, and it's going to transfer it automatically inside of a normal, nicer view. And if we come here, we can actually draw also some diagrams here. So you can simply draw a diagram pretty quickly like that, and double tap, and it's going to convert it. So there was just a small error here, but if we fix it here, put an arrow, we have it done. And then if you have some text, you can actually select your text here and even resize your text, and they recognize it and keep your text all aligned and your words together. So this is really cool, and I didn't see any other software that are as good at recognizing your text. This works on the iPad, but also on Android and on Windows. This might seem like a boring part of the video, but planning your stuff is really important to be less stressed and stay on track with your projects. So I use a mix of Microsoft To Do, of ClickUp, and also Notion, depending on what I do. So I like starting my day and go inside of Microsoft To Do and add some tasks there for everything I have to do during my day. For school and more complex projects, I use ClickUp. And if you never heard of ClickUp, ClickUp is trying to replace other productivity apps with one app. And I must say it's one of the best ones I ever used, and I tried a lot of them in the past. So inside of ClickUp here, I have all of my classes here. So if we go on here, you can open one of my classes, and you can see I have all my tasks listed here. So I have my classes, my exams, my quiz, my projects, and now I have due dates on them. The reason I like ClickUp so much is that you can organize all your information in different views and also customize pretty much everything however you want. The only thing is that they launched a new version for their iPhone and iPad app, and it's still missing a lot of features. But if we go on the web version here, we can actually see that I have a dashboard here where I have a nice calendar with everything I need to do inside of March right here. And if we go here, I also have a custom dashboard where I can see all my tasks that are upcoming, that are in progress, and also that are overdue. And all these features are coming really soon in the iPad app, and they're also going to have an optimized iPad app really soon. So you're going to get all these features inside the iPad app. So this is a really great way of staying up to date on everything you have to do inside of a more complex project. I recently started using Notion to plan my YouTube videos. I used to do it inside of ClickUp, but the reason I switched to Notion is actually because of how good it is for writing. So just like ClickUp, you can have different views for your content, but at the base of Notion, it's really the principle of having a page. So if we open the YouTube video I have right now here, we can actually see it's a lot of text, and it's just a really great experience when writing your text and when you want to add a little bit more advanced things inside of your text, like to-do list or things like that. What I also really like on side of Notion is that it supports scribble mode, so you can simply touch anywhere on your document and then just start writing using your pen, and it's simply going to transfer whatever you wrote on side of your text. So this works really great when you just want to write quickly some things inside of your document and you don't want to be using the keyboard to do it and you just want to use your pen. So this is a really cool thing that they support. Notion might seem intimidating when you see complex setups, but at the base, like I said, it's just pages, and then you can use what they call a database, and a database is just a list of pages that you can show in different formats. So here I have a calendar view, then I have a list view here, so you can have different views to show the same type of content. And you can see that if I come inside of here, I can have all different kinds of views for the same content, which is pretty cool, depending on how you want to organize your content. Another very important thing to understand is that there isn't one app that is perfect for everyone. So I realized I actually like using free apps, so using Microsoft To Do for my daily list, then ClickUp for my school projects and more complex projects, and Notion for my YouTube videos. So I use all three of them, and I'll use them in different ways, and they all work pretty well together in the end. Now let's quickly talk about email and calendar. I use the Outlook app because I still have a Hotmail account as my main account. So I just really like it. It's a really simple app that gets the job done really well for both calendar and also emails. But this is a point where I need to disclose that I worked for the Outlook web app team last summer as my internship, but that doesn't change. I still just really like this app. If you're using Gmail and you want to have a better app for your calendar, you can actually use the Google Calendar app that I personally think is just a little bit better, a little bit cleaner to use, and a little bit easier. But yeah, they're both great options. I don't really need to have anything any more complex because I don't really have complex needs when it comes to email or calendar. Just the default apps work pretty well for me. The most common reason people are going to mention of why they don't want to leave the Apple ecosystem is because of iMessage. I use Messenger with all my family and friends, and it works great and has pretty much all the features that iMessage offers. If you go inside of Messenger here, I have the conversation, can call anybody by audio or video, and it works pretty great. Another really great thing about Messenger is that I bought a Facebook portal for my grandmother recently, so I can call her and she can answer using the portal, even if she don't know anything about technology and never had a computer or something like that. So that's a really great thing when you use Messenger, is that you can use this easier device for some people. Another pretty cool thing for people that have Android phone is that you can actually go to the website that is called messages.google.com, and then you're going to have some setup steps to set this up. Once it's linked to your phone, you can actually access all your text messages on your iPad here. If you want it to look a little bit more like an app, you can actually go in the share menu here, then go down to add to home screen, click on add, and then you're gonna have an icon here that you can open, and it's gonna open in a full screen view. So you can actually see your messages in full screen on the iPad, which is pretty great. If you're still not using a password manager, I highly suggest you go and download one. I personally use LastPass because I really like it, but we can see here that once I have a website and it's configured, I can simply click here to enter a password, select the option to use my password from LastPass, use my finger to authenticate, and that's all it took to log in into the website. So this is such a great option because it's so annoying when you have to type some long passwords on the iPad to access any website or any app or anything. And LastPass just works really great on my iPad, but also on my other devices, and is a pretty cheap option if you want to pay for the paid plan. Now let's get a little bit more creative and talk about Photoshop. You might not know, but I create all my thumbnails for my YouTube videos inside of Photoshop. And for the last few thumbnails, I've been using my iPad and the Photoshop version on the iPad, and the performances are really great. They're really, really good. My biggest problem with the app is actually that if you have to edit some text, and if I click on the text here, the text just disappears from the screen. Then you come here, you can scroll it back inside of the screen, make an edit, click on it again, and it disappears again. This is so annoying because I always have text on my screen, so it's really annoying to have the text disappear all the time. Another thing that is not as great is when you want to move things around, you cannot like just click them and move them. You actually have to go inside, select the layer here, and then move them. It's not a big thing. But if you want to be using the pen to draw on your pictures, this is where Photoshop becomes really great. It uses the full tilt of the pen, so you can start drawing on the side here, move to the top, and it's going to change the pen, and you get really realistic results using your pen inside of your drawings inside of Photoshop. So this is really great, and it's a thing that I use inside of my thumbnails more and more because it's just so fun to be using the pen to draw on pictures inside of Photoshop. Talking of Adobe, there's another app they made that I like quite a lot, which is called Spark Post. So you can use Spark Post to create some social media posts or anything that is graphic design in a pretty easy manner. So you can either use some of their templates, so they have some free ones and they also have some paid ones. And then if you want to go, you can also create your own from scratch, which I did for most of my Instagram stories. And then I can just come here, and then you can even animate some things inside of here. So here the text is going to be animated, and I can create this with just a few clicks, and it's super easy to customize and change some stuff inside of here. So this is a really cool app if you want to create some nice little designs. A honorable mention I'm going to give is also for Canva. So I used to use Canva on the web a lot, but just discovered the iPad app, and it seems to be working pretty well. So I'm definitely going to try this one a little bit more. But if you already use the Canva app on the web, it's a good thing to know that it also exists on the iPad. Let's talk about my favorite creative activity, which is photography. You won't be surprised to hear me say that my favorite app on the iPad is Lightroom, and the reason I like Lightroom so much is that I have all my files synced between all my devices automatically. It's also super easy here to come and classify my different files and flag the ones I like, and you can also have access to really advanced photo editing options right inside of Lightroom. The only problem with Lightroom is that it's super expensive, so if you want a cheaper alternative, you can use Darkroom, which is a pretty great app when you have all your files locally. But then if you wanted something else, I also talked about Polar Photo Editor inside of one of my other videos, and it works pretty great on the iPad too. My only problem is that it only works in vertical mode here, so you have to use the iPad in vertical mode for it to work because it was never optimized for the iPad. But it's still a pretty great app, and it's a lot cheaper than having to pay for Lightroom. Now let's move on to my last category, which is about video editing. And for this, it's no surprise that the best app out there on the iPad is LumaFusion. LumaFusion is super powerful. It reads 4K, no problem at all, and also has the most powerful options when you're video editing, and it's still pretty easy to use if you don't really know how to do any video editing. If you don't want to be using LumaFusion and you want something a little bit more cross-platform, there's Adobe Rush. But my problem with Adobe Rush is that it's not as powerful and also a lot more expensive than having to use LumaFusion. So I would just stick with LumaFusion, even if it's not a cross-platform option if you want to be doing video editing on your iPad. Now, if you stick until this point inside of the video, I wanted to give you a little bonus point, and this is the widgets I have on my home screen here. So at the right top here, I have some widgets from Hello Weather, and these are very beautiful widgets about weather, and I have them inside of a stack to have a little bit more information, where I can just swipe through them and get a little bit more information about the weather and the next days and things like that. Then if you go down here, I have my calendar, so I have my upcoming event right here. Then I have on the left here an app that is called Countdown, so it just counts down to the number of days, and you can customize the background image, the text and everything on it. And here I have my number of days left before the end of school. So I'm pretty excited, only 72 days left at school. Then down here, I have my to-do list. So I always see my upcoming tasks. So this is really great to always know what is upcoming inside of my day. Then the other widgets are a little bit more normal, so I'm not going to talk about them inside of this video. I would really like to know what are your favorite apps on the iPad, so please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below to let me know you enjoyed the video, and also consider subscribing to the channel. I post new videos every week. See you in the next one. Bye bye.